Holy crap, this is going to be a great episode.
Holy crap.
It's going to be great.
I thought everyone was great, dude.
They are, but this one's super special, and I'm not going to ruin it until after our theme song.
I know what you're talking about, and I have to agree.
Hey, I was driving on the highway the other day with my daughter. I have to say, something that bothered me as a kid that I never quite understood, and now I'm seeing that as a kid, I was right to question this. So in Ontario, for those who are in other provinces or other countries, whatever, we have this thing called demerit points when you get caught speeding, no seatbelt, whatever. So you get a fine and you get demerit points. Except the way the demerit points work is they add up. So you get 2 points, say, for no seatbelt. And you get, I think it's 3 points or 4 points for like speeding or whatever.
Right. The bigger the infraction, the more points.
Exactly. So here's the thing. When I was a kid, I always said, why does it add up? I feel like you should have a certain amount of points on your driver's license, and then it should go backwards. They take them away because then you know how many you have left. I understand you can count the other way too, but still. So I'm driving on the highway with my daughter the other day, and this is where I see the problem in our day and age, is we're driving by and we have the digital signs on the 401 that say, wear your seatbelt, it's 2 points. We get a little further and it's like cell phone use is 4 points. And so as we're driving, my daughter turns to me and says, man, you can get a lot of points if you really try. And I said, yeah. And she's like, it's kind of like a video game. And I'm like, except the worst video game ever. You don't want the points. She's like, no, I understand that. But people probably try to get a lot of points.
Run over a senior with a walker, 8 points.
Exactly. And so I was thinking about it. I'm like, hey, as a kid, I was on the right track because all these kids now who are playing video games, it's all about collecting points.
Yeah, it's like a live version of Grand Theft Auto.
Exactly.
Welcome to Ontario, Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, you're going to have some teenager who's pulling over, trying to pick up a hooker, driving over an old lady, not wearing his seatbelt, talking on his cell phone to get the maximum amount of points and ends up in jail.
With open alcohol.
Exactly. It's like you're tempting the kids. Needless to say, we decided to try it. And, we took off our seatbelts. We talked on our cell phones.
Yeah, you sped and cracked open a beer, I hope.
No, I didn't do that.
Well, you're going to lose the game.
Missed out on the bonus points.
Yeah, that's right. Ching, ching.
This is Taming the Hustle.
Or something of the sort.
Everybody wants a piece of me. I'm a lonesome man making history. They say we're all just raindrops in a stream.
Hey, so that's our theme song. And the reason I want to bring that up, not because I want to sing it. We've heard me sing in the last few podcasts.
Well,
we don't want to ever hear that again.
No kidding.
We have a guest today.
I know. I'm going to let you have the honors of introducing him.
I love it. It is the lead singer of the band OK Otter who sings our theme song, Mike Doyle. Mike.
Everybody wants
Hey, guys.
a piece of
How's it
me.
going?
I'm just a lonesome man making history.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That sounds good.
Sorry for botching it, buddy, but it's so catchy.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks so much. I was just telling the guys it's really cool that you used it. Got a lot of cool placements, through Artlist, which we can talk about, but I think that's definitely one of the coolest ones. I think there's been some other podcasts that have used it, but like I go and look at them, they just seem like they're probably not going to last long. Maybe they will, who knows? But I went and saw you guys and how you're treating the podcast and all the media you're putting out on social media and stuff, and I'm like, these guys are going to be, lasting a while.
We got endless topics, and as anybody who has listened knows, I love to talk, so it's probably never going to end.
This shit is for real, Mike.
So tell me, who is OK Otter?
Yeah, so OK Otter was basically like a home, recording project. I've been recording since high school, so probably like 15.
Nice.
I started recording or like actually playing music after seeing School of Rock.
Oh,
and I was
nice.
just obsessed with it. And yeah,
That's
so
a good reason.
I started playing music, started recording on an 8-track in my basement.
Amazing.
I was just recording as I had a million different band names. So, I mean, I would have a MySpace for all these different bands and, different songs I thought kind of worked together well, would be in one band and release of, they never, really went anywhere, but, had a band in college. We did good. We played the college scene. I went to Penn State University. It's right in the dead center of Pennsylvania. And then after college, I was still releasing music just under my name.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I want to say it was like 10 years ago that I released under OK Otter. So that's kind of like the project as it is now that I'm sticking with the name OK Otter. Don't ask me why I named it OK. I'm copying off of Dr. Dog is one of my favorite bands. Fleet Foxes, Modest Mouse.
Yeah.
Alliteration and like a cute animal seems to do well. So
You were down to 2 titles and you really didn't like the Otter one. So
That's our dad joke of the day. Sponsored by OK Otter.
That's good. Yeah, but I mean, I have done a little bit of kids music too. We were talking about, I've got a bunch of kids at home, so I like
Yeah.
doing kids music too. I think it kind of also lends itself to, being a good name to release kids music under as well. But anyway, you asked who is in the band, so it kind of was really just me for a little bit, and then my family, we started playing as a cover band.
Nice.
Mostly down the Jersey Shore where my parents have a house. We still play there a lot. That's my sister, my brother-in-law. They're both the guitar players. I play bass. I know this isn't a video podcast, but that's my Geddy Lee jazz bass behind me. So that's what I've been playing since high school.
Oh, some Canadian content.
Oh yeah.
it's a thing of beauty.
My dad plays drums, and then our good family friend plays the squeeze box.
Nice.
So we do a lot of Irish stuff.
Squeezebox was awesome, actually. When I was checking out some of your stuff on YouTube, because I play the fiddle, so I've been playing the fiddle for 20 some years, and we play in a country band. We do a lot of Celtic and Irish stuff as well too, right? So
you ever want to play on one of my songs? Let me know.
well, I don't know if I'm at your caliber. Maybe I stick to podcasting and financial planning, but I love the Old Crow Medicine Show, and one of the tunes you guys had on there was your version of Wagon Wheel, and he friggin' just wailed it on the squeeze box, which we call an accordion up here in Canada, and it's just
You have to play Wagon Wheel if you're a cover band.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's a must. You're a loser if you don't.
It's almost like you're a loser if you do.
Yeah.
It's become like a Brown Eyed Girl type of song, where it's just like every band plays it, but I don't care. I mean, everybody loves it though, so we don't care. We play it anyway.
So you have a family, you got 4 kids. And I know for me, like everything I do artsy wise, it's like I have inspiration, whether it's my family, whether it's something that happened in my past. What's been your inspiration for music? Like what drives you?
I used to write a lot about like trolls and stuff like that. Like I was really into like Lord of the Rings and things like that. So I would write a lot about like folky, inspired by Norwegian folklore or tales of Uncle Remus or the Grimm fairy tales. I just kind of go and because I like that all that stuff anyway. So I just kind of pick out little things from that and write songs about it. Once I started having kids, I try to write about family more. I've written some love songs. I try to write when I write a love song, I try not to be like too cheesy. They're obviously for my wife. I wrote it like one of the songs I'm most proud of is called Old Man, and that's a song I wrote on.
That's a good one.
Dad Rock 2, and that's about an old guy and his wife passes away and he's just kind of hanging out, looking after his kids and grandkids and being there for him and just kind of waiting, knowing that his wife's waiting. So I try to write about family stuff usually, but I got a song coming out that's called Toad, and it's about a toad that won't move out of the road for a guy that's trying to get through, and they kind of like a standoff,
Fucking toad,
and they're kind of yelling at each other. That's what the whole song's about.
That's hilarious. When we found Mean One, we went through and I was like, oh, this band's awesome. And I started listening to all your stuff. And when I got to Old Man, I'm listening. I got my headphones on. I'm by myself in my office, and I got the lights dim because I'm editing. And I'm listening to your music, and I'm like, I got about halfway through, and I'm like, I got to put something else on. This is hitting home. I was getting a little. It can get you emotional. It's awesome.
Ah, nice. That's what I wanted. I love like my dad teared. Like he doesn't tear up, but I think I saw him tear up a little bit when I played it for him. Maybe. I mean, he might have just yawned or something, but
that's when you know you nailed it.
But something for that song that I actually, so that was during COVID, and I reached out to, for freelancing, and this isn't just music, but with anything, I reached out to the best Irish banjo player in the world, expecting, he's not gonna reply, and he did, and he played on the song. So Old Man, last song on Dad Rock 2 is arguably the best banjo player or Irish banjo. He plays tenor banjo in the world. He plays in a band called Wee Banjo 3. He's from Ireland. And then also I got a Canadian fiddle player who's awesome. She plays with Alan Doyle from Great Big Sea. Kendall Carson,
yes.
Yep.
So awesome.
Yeah, she's same thing. I reached out to her. I was like, she's not going to respond, and she did. And I think it was partly because,
That's awesome.
COVID, people probably weren't playing out as much.
I was next on your list, right?
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't know. Now you will be.
I have to bring this up because it is the elephant in the room as far as our theme song goes, because people love the small portion we stole from the song.
Totally. I have to tell you, Mike, I get so many people saying, man, you guys picked the right song. It's just so fucking catchy.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for writing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that
Awesome.
all the time of like, it says the perfect things about you two guys in the song. It's so great. It's so fitting. But tell us what the song is actually about.
It's about the Grinch.
It's
a Christmas song.
Like the real
Yep.
Grinch, the Christmas Grinch.
Which we love,
Yep.
the Grinch.
I have a lot of songs about the Grinch. I also have a lot of songs about Ebenezer Scrooge.
Oh,
Even if
that's
they're not
awesome.
all like, they're kind of subtly Christmas songs, but
So we found you on this website called Artlist, which is an amazing site for marketers like myself to find bands and find great music, not the cheesy corporate crappy stuff, but actual real music. So what made you decide to bring your music to Artlist?
so to be honest, Artlist is the only one accepted my music. So I tried all,
Really?
yeah, I tried
Okay.
every one of the boutique. Well, I guess they're not boutique anymore, but the specialized
Yeah.
sync licensing libraries, outside of the Pond Fives. Pond Five will accept anything.
Yeah.
So I have a couple songs on Pond Five, but
Yeah.
Artlist is the only one that accepted.
Honestly, they are the best one. They're the only one we use now. We've canceled our subscription everywhere else because they have the top
Yeah,
music.
yeah. I think I got lucky. I think what happened is, so I mean, the reason why is I want to create assets for myself. I'm writing music anyway. Why not make a little money on it? And
Yeah.
it's not I can't quit my job or anything, but we're making
Yeah.
we're making some money. Like we can pay for a vacation. Like it's that kind of money, just to understand the
Nice.
scope of it. So, and it gets out there and more people hear my music. My streams on Spotify went way up after
Yeah.
that. But yeah, Artlist is the only ones accepted. I think I got lucky with them because they just happened to be looking for indie rock at the right time when I submitted. They were still
Nice.
relatively young. I don't know exactly how long they had been going, but this was, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. I think I got my
That's
first song.
all right.
The real driver was to make money, but I also got a kick in the butt. My wife and I did this whole life insurance thing, and we got into something we shouldn't have, and we lost several $1,000s basically. And I was like, I need to make this
Oh,
money
man.
back. So I made almost the whole thing back in the first year by finding a way, just a way outside of, without using my work money, go find a way to make this up. I just felt embarrassed. It was in the scheme of things, like, everybody kind of has F ups, in their life financially. It's not that it wasn't that much money, but it was enough where I was like, I felt sick to my stomach. So I wanted to go, make it back some way. And that's what I started looking. I was like, I got to make money off of, this thing I'm doing anyway.
Yeah, to redeem yourself and to make money with something that you love doing is, I mean, that's probably most people's aspirations, right?
Yeah. And I made back probably, at least 3 or 4 times what we lost just with our that dumb move we made. But it was great though. Like it was a great
It
kick in the
worked out
butt
at the
and
end.
got me, gave me that kick to go make it up, and I made much more back. So but yeah, our list has been awesome. So what I do is every time I complete a song, I'll send to Artlist. Even now, and just because I got in with them and I'm an Artlist artist, they don't accept all my music. I mean, the last 4 songs I've sent to them, they've rejected. And I actually wrote to them and I was like, hey, and this, by the way, but just to cut it, Artlist is awesome. So anything I say here is not, me being bitter or complaining. They are awesome. I'm so grateful to be there. But yeah, the reality is that they're doing awesome, and they're getting way more selective with the music they're bringing in. So I mean, they've selected songs this year. I mean, this past year they selected, I don't know, 6 to 10 songs, something like that. But the last couple, I was like, oh, there's no way they're not going to accept this. And they don't. And then there's a couple songs that I've submitted. I'm like, this is a long shot, and they'll accept it. So it's kind of like, it depends on what they're looking for. They are building their catalog based on what they already have, what they need a little bit more of. Like I had an Irish song called All Aboard and they were looking for Irish stuff. It's really like a pirate song, and they accepted that. And I thought that was a little bit of a long shot, but it was what they were looking for at the right time. And
And it depends on like who's listening, what mood they're in. Someone comes in, they're a little cranky, and it's like they listen to your song, like, no, not today.
I was wondering that too. Yeah.
I think they tweeted yesterday that they're looking for a frog song. So like, that's be perfect for you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But it's Toad.
Ah, Jesus. Leave it to René to mess it up.
It's going to get rejected.
Talk about delivering a bad joke.
The great thing about Artlist is it's no different. Like, so I'm on the other side, right? It's like we are looking for the music, so we subscribe to Artlist. You're no different than any other artist, whether it's a graphic designer or a video creator. You got to get out there now and be different. Think outside the box to actually make a profit, because it's not as easy as just going somewhere, showing up, and getting a job like a graphic designer used to show up at a company, get a job. Now they're selling their templates to Canva or Envato or whoever.
Yeah.
And it makes it so much easier for them to make money, but it's still more of a grind. And just like, with the music industry, I'm sure it's the same thing. Back in the day, you'd play at the local bar, someone would see you, you're sending tapes to people and trying to become known. Now there's this avenue which seems a little easier, but the pool is so big that it's hard. It's still hard. You're still kind of grinding. And it's like, in the way like Spotify and Apple Music and everybody works, and we're on these platforms as well. And again, no disrespect, but they don't pay as much as selling an actual physical EP or like a CD or a cassette would back in the day. So it's got to be a grind for sure.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's very, very saturated. It's kind of on you to go out and, get it done. But for me, I mean, I use a lot of them as well. Like I use Canva all the time. I use all my album art. Like even if it's a picture we take, like the last 2 releases, we're releasing a song every month. So our drummer took some cool pictures on his phone, so we use them. But I put them in Canva and use some of their templates and stuff. It's very heavy. Like you got to be good at social media too, which I'm not. We were using Instagram for everything. Our Instagram was deleted. So we had,
really?
Yeah, we still don't know why. So we were sharing it, me and my brother-in-law. He was hacked. His Facebook was hacked, and I guess it's linked to his Instagram, and they deleted everything. They deleted his Instagram, personal Instagram, his Facebook, and then also our band Instagram, since he was an admin. And it never came. Like we reached out, he got his personal stuff back, so they restored his personal.
But they wouldn't bring the band back.
Yeah. And I talked to them on the phone a bunch of times with Meta. I'm like, what is going on? And they won't even really give you an answer why it was deleted. I mean, the only reason I knew he had something to do with him getting hacked is because he figured that out by going to through Oculus. I think he's an architect, and through work, they have like an Oculus license for something. I don't know if it's something to do with architecture. They're able to look around the building, whatever. But they're owned by Meta too, I guess. And he was able to get better customer support, and they kind of explained, but they weren't able to get the band Instagram back either.
I'm with you on the Facebook Meta thing.
Yeah.
I have a big love-hate relationship. It's, it's 90% hate and 10%
The struggle
love,
is real
but
for sure, man. To try to actually get a mass audience is nearly impossible with their algorithms. It's crazy. Yeah, Darryl gets very, very frustrated dealing with some of those social media platforms.
I do. That's why I swear a lot.
I gotta I'll post stuff. I'll occasionally just post just random. Like I posted a Greta Van Fleet cover, and it got more views and likes than anything I've ever done ever. And I'm just like, oh man, how do I get that for my original music? Like I have no idea, and I don't know why that did good in the algorithm or not. And comparatively to people who really know what they're doing, it didn't do good. But for me, it did awesome. So I think I don't know how it works at all. There's probably a lot I should learn, because you apparently do need to learn this stuff.
It's so great that we're having this conversation though, because these are offline conversations that Darryl and I have all the time, and it's so frustrating to try to figure it out.
So like as a band, what do you do for marketing, I guess?
Well, I actually started using ArtGrid. So I bought an ArtGrid license, but it's stock video. So I just did that. There's a lyric video for The Machine, which was our release in
awesome.
February. That's just like a ArtGrid artist videographer who posted on there, and I used one of his. I think they call them stories, maybe I forget, but they kind of have like a little bit of like a story to their footage, and I just took that and kind of spliced it together and made a made a little lyric video to it.
Because we use a lot of that stock footage for our clients and stuff like that because it saves them money, right?
Yeah.
The stock footage saves a huge amount of money. You can download it, it's cheap versus me sending a camera crew out and shooting something very similar.
Yeah.
So I watch a lot of ads on TV, and it's so funny how I will see with big brands, like I'm talking major brands across North America, and I'll see that same stock footage. I'm like, oh, yeah, I saw that clip. That was a good one.
Yeah.
I had it in my file of saved because I'm like, might use that someday. I'm not sure where, but that's a really good shot. And then I see, a major brand uses it. So it's definitely unique, and it's kind of great too. And here's this is an advertising secret, is that you use a clip, and let's say a big brand like it's Coca-Cola grabs one of these stock footages just to use in the background of one of their ads, and they throw that in. And now when they see your video, they're like, as a consumer, you're like, I must have seen this before.
Yeah.
Because they know they saw it in the Coke, but they can't connect the two dots. So now you become recognizable to them.
Yeah.
Automatically. It's like, oh, I know this band. I must have listened to their stuff before because I remember seeing their stuff. And they didn't. They saw a clip that Coca-Cola used or whoever. And it's kind of that it's tricking the mind, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so some behind the scenes, I mean, for the music stuff, like, so Lexus used a song of mine, and also, a kid in college working on a project. I get paid the same amount for both of them. So, I didn't know if you guys knew how Artlist works. I'm sure the others like Music Vine, Epidemic. I don't know for sure, but I'm kind of assuming they work in a similar way. You kind of get
I think so.
You get like a piece of the pot at the end of the year from what they make based on how many total downloads you had. So if people had, X amount of downloads for me, it's just that, it's kind of like cut up out of the pie that they made for all other artists. And I get a little piece of it. So that's how it works. But I don't care. I mean, it's, whether Lexus using it, it's really cool to just go out and say, hey, it gives you a little bit of
gives you credibility.
Credibility.
Yeah, it's credibility. Yeah. So like my family and friends, like my mom thought that was cool. And like, people that aren't really could care less about me doing original music are like, oh, that's cool. So it's kind of like a nice thing to
that's
tell
very
people.
Cool.
The Artlist thing is really the only thing that has made a real good step in the right direction for getting my music out there. I mean, I used to how Spotify says like your monthly listeners. I mean, I had 5, maybe between 5 and like 100. That was probably the most I would ever see. And Artlist took me to that, in the thousands. But that's nothing compared to like, if you really want to make money in music, from streaming, you got to be way, way above. You got to have like 1 million, which is once you're at 1 million, you're almost like kind of like teetering on that. You're almost famous, kind of. You're
exactly
like not necessarily famous, but like you're a pretty big band. Like the Lord Hurons. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but like that the Fleet Foxes, those type of band. Well, they're pretty famous. Like I don't know if you have any recommendations for I know it's music specific, but like for just anyone that's kind of trying to build their own little company.
Whether it's for companies or bands, and I think this is like I was thinking about this and talking with my team where we were talking about how would you market a band, and we actually said it's kind of no different than a company. So I'll give you a couple tips here that I think would be really successful, and I'm gonna start with the first one that I absolutely hate. I hate that I'm telling you this, but TikTok is gigantic, and I hate it. I hate to say that I'm telling you to go on there, but you have to be creative on TikTok. So it's a lot of like behind the scenes stuff, right? Whether it's you guys trying to figure out how to like put a song together, or you're writing a song and you're talking to the camera, little documentary style 30-second to a minute videos really kind of suck people in. And I hate TikTok, but it's that's how you that's how it happens.
So I have a TikTok, but I delete it from my. So I was telling the guys I'm in cybersecurity. I did work in defense at one point when I first started as a systems engineer, and I just have this weird paranoia about TikTok. Although I've heard, I was listening to, he was an old MTV guy, and he was like, because everybody's coming out saying, this is China trying to get your, get everything from you. But he came out with a point. He's like, yeah, but every one of them is doing that too.
Exactly.
So, but anyway, but regardless, the point is like I'm very like paranoid about TikTok for some reason,
Yeah.
and I'll post something and then I'll just immediately delete the app from my phone, and then I get no views. And I was just talking to I was on a podcast with a guy. He's called Josh Jams. You guys actually might be interested in talking to him because he figured out TikTok, and he was like, yeah, that's.
Nice.
They don't like that. You're not gonna help
Exactly.
the algorithm if they see you're deleting the app immediately after posting.
But you're going to Google
So,
right after
but-
this about your TikTok paranoia, and it's going to tell you everything about it before you even ask for it. I mean, so everybody's listening in, unfortunately.
Exactly. The other thing you could do is live streams are huge on social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram. And again, like you do these like some of these shows like that are fairly big shows. And it's like if you do like a behind the scenes live stream where you have your phone, you're doing a selfie video live stream and you're talking, showing behind the scenes like, hey, yeah, we're getting ready. Look, he's tuning his guitar, whatever it is. And you kind of are talking to the audience throughout. Maybe it's a half hour long before you go on stage.
Yeah.
And then as you go on stage, you literally bring your phone and hand it off to someone who's waiting in the wings who's going to record the show for you,
That's
right?
a cool idea. Yeah.
People see a live stream, and I do it too. I'll go through and I see some weird live stream. I don't follow them. I don't know who they are. But for some reason, I click on it. I'm not a big social media person. So it's kind of a little secret, right? Everyone loves to see what's behind the curtain, right? It's the whole Wizard of Oz thing.
Yeah. I'm taking notes.
And so, yeah, that's a big thing. The other thing for musicians that this one's kind of, well, it's not sneaky. It's everyone does it. And it's a way to get noticed. It's to get playlisted, but you got to be creative. And I'm going to give you a tip on how to do that.
Okay.
So after this, I want you to go and create a playlist. And you're going to put some of your songs on there, but you're going to put other artists who are big artists, but they can't be too big. Because if, say, you put the Lumineers on there, they're huge right now. Everyone has them on every one of their playlists all over. So if you put a Lumineers song on there, you're going to get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
But let's say you're going to put someone a little less famous than the Lumineers who are bigger, and you put them on, and now it's like the reach. There may not be on every playlist, but they're going to be on some. But that playlist, the big secret, and this goes with any business, no matter what you're doing, whether it's a playlist or you're trying to create a Facebook group, is you have to be creative with the name, but not too creative. If I'm trying to make a playlist for dinner songs and I want it low key and, set the mood, I can't put my playlist as mood for romance.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to search that. When I'm typing it in, I write slow dinner songs.
Yeah.
Right. So your title has to be creative, but kind of boring at the same time. You got to think of what they're actually going to type.
My one playlist is songs to bury your dog to. I think I took that from my brother-in-law came up with that. That's probably not a good title. I don't think people are going to search that.
I've never searched that one.
No, me neither. No, it's not bad.
I will now.
Yeah.
I will now.
And it's like some of the playlists I have on my own playlist that I've made that are just for me, but I've shared them and they have like a good following. It's like I've just wrote slow songs.
Yeah.
And then like I have my writing soundtrack because I do screenwriting.
Oh, nice.
And so that's what I literally call it, my writing soundtrack. It's crazy how it got followed so fast based on just those basic terms.
Yeah. So I see a lot of people using famous band. I mean, like you mentioned the Lumineers. Like there's a lot of people using the Lumineers for things. How are they doing that legally?
Well, I would say a lot of times it's not.
Okay.
There are a few other websites out there that you can subscribe to that are kind of like Artlist, that it's a higher subscription and then you pay a royalty on top of that.
Okay.
And it's definitely lower. And there are some big songs on there, but generally it's not the new, fresh, biggest songs. So
what about, so on Instagram, you're allowed to use almost any. I mean, like I haven't seen a lot that's not there.
if it's on their platform and you use it, yes, as long as you click their music link. But if I were to just upload a video that has like a Lumineers song in it, it's going to get flagged and it's going to get taken down.
Yeah.
But if I use their music, then it's okay.
I got shut down on my own song. I tried to I have a song called Christmas at Sea. I did this whole lyric video that I tried to put out on Instagram. It got flagged and removed.
Oh man.
That's actually been a little bit of a pain in the ass with some of the stuff because I'm getting flagged on my own music trying to release
Your own
it.
music.
Yeah, just annoying.
Funny.
But
Hey, so listen, we're going to take a quick break.
Sure.
But when we come back, I'm hoping you can stick around. I want to talk about, I know you're listening to this podcast and you're definitely listening to this one right now, but I want to hear what other
Sure.
podcasts you listen to.
sounds good.
Awesome. We'll be right back.
My dad said if I gave you $1, you'd turn it into $1.10.
Well, there's a little more to it than that.
Maybe figure out how to explain this sorcery.
It's simple, not magic. Hashtag call René, certified financial planner of St. Cyr and Associates. And we're back.
We're back. We're still here with Mike Doyle from OK Otter. I'm so excited, Mike. I'm so glad you're here.
This is a great
great
podcast,
beer.
but I have a feeling that my financial planning topic has been pushed to the side this week. But I will do that with pleasure to keep Mike on a little longer.
So, Mike, listen, obviously you listen to our podcast. Every episode you share with 1,000 people, and we appreciate that.
Of course.
But what other podcasts do you listen to?
I listen to pretty much like all comedy podcasts. So
Yeah.
Nice.
yeah, number one, I don't know if you ever heard of Kill Tony.
I have not.
That's one of my favorites.
Okay.
It's a guy, Tony Hinchcliffe. He runs a show out of Austin, Texas. It's the biggest live podcast in the world, and it's basically he has comedians come. A lot of them are from Austin, but they come from all over the world, and they do a 1 minute of comedy in front of him, Brian Redban, and they usually have guests. So they'll have, like Bill Burr has been a guest. They'll have their
Nice.
famous comedians on
Amazing.
that help like judge them on their 1 minute of stand up. And it's hilarious. And he's like ruthless. I mean, it's incredibly vulgar.
That's
Which is
awesome.
funny because my other podcast I listen to is like the opposite. But it's brutal, and I feel bad for these guys. But he actually, you could tell he's a good guy though. But he rips people apart. I mean, if they stink, they do a minute and they're awful. He tears them apart, especially if they're awful. And he always asks how long you've been doing comedy. If they say anything more than like a couple of years and they're really bad, he just obliterates them. But it's great. It's really good. Very, very entertaining. I watch it, like I said, on YouTube, but it's on Spotify and everything. And they have some regulars on there too.
Nice.
And then, my favorite comedian is Nate Bargatze. It's spelled Bargatze. Everyone says
Yeah, yeah.
Bargatze. He's hit, but I listen to the podcast, so I know how him and his family say it. So they say Bargatze.
Yeah,
So people
yeah.
are like, "You're a fan? You don't know how to say his name." But he has a podcast called Nate Land. That's really good. So it's
Nice.
him. It's Dusty Slay, who's another semi-big
Yeah.
comic, and then two other comics that are not as well known, but Aaron Weber, he's like an up and coming comic, and Brian Bates, and they're all just
Nice.
buddies. It's a clean podcast, but it's great. And then I like Theo Vaughn's podcast. It's called This Past Weekend. Do you guys know who Theo Vaughn is?
No, I don't.
He's a funny guy.
Fucking stumping us.
I know. My podcast list isn't as diverse as that.
This is the American point of view. I love it.
I know.
So he just has one guest on. Just they talk about whatever. So they have musician. A lot of times it's other
Okay.
comics. We'll have some just famous people like Neil deGrasse Tyson was on. Those type of
Nice.
people as well. So
Yeah,
we'll have on. But he's really funny. He's famous for having a mullet. He's he got big from, I think it was not Real World. I think it was Road Rules or something. That's where he kind of
okay.
like broke out and then became a stand up. And yeah, that's a good one. We Might Be Drunk. That's another one.
Yeah. I've listened to
okay.
that.
And then one that I wanted to mention, and then I'll shut up. Fly on the Wall is pretty good with Dana Carvey
Fly.
and
Yes.
David Spade. It kind of depends on
Yes.
who they're interviewing, like whether how into it I am, but it's pretty good. They like to have a
I
lot
love
of
David Spade.
old SNL people on.
It's a bit long-winded because sometimes it just depends who they have on, but it is a really great podcast. I love both of them.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Nice. I love the comedy ones myself. Like I listen to Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. I've always been a huge Conan fan. And then one that a comedian I really love, and every time I mention his name, like I feel he is huge on the stage, but I'll mention his name to anybody and they're like, I have no idea who that is. And his podcast called I Don't Know About That with Jim Jeffries.
Oh, Jim, Australian.
Yeah. And he's such a funny comedian, and it's a humorous educational show, I guess.
I'll have to check it out. So I know Jim Jeffries. He but I've never heard that podcast, and I just know him from other comedians love him. So that's kind of how you know he's got to be
He's
good.
so good.
It's like a comedian's
Exactly.
comedian.
His
so,
last couple specials on Netflix are to friggin' die for. They're so funny.
yeah.
I love
He's
his
so
humor.
funny. And then obviously, Renee and I started our podcast, our very first episode, by pretending we were the show Smartless. So we definitely listened to that one.
Okay, I don't know that one.
Oh, you gotta get in on that.
Yeah.
So it's with Jason Bateman,
Oh, okay.
Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes.
So good.
Those three together are hilarious.
Nice.
So they bring in a special guest every episode. So they take turns, and it's a surprise guest.
Ah, that's cool. Yeah.
Makes for interesting
Nice.
conversation and lots of laughter. It's good. That's great that you're a comedy buff. I love it.
Yeah.
I know the two of us, we love stand-up comedy. Like right now, I'm really into Kelsey Cook. She's so funny. She just released a new
Foosball player.
a new special. Yeah, a big foosball player. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is kind of how she got me in, from being like all those videos you're talking about, like the type of stuff, marketing on social
Exactly.
media. The foosball thing is killing
She does it right.
Yeah.
Yep. She found the niche. She's got a great hook and it works. And she just released a YouTube special and it's killing it.
I'll have to check it out. Yeah, if anyone doesn't know, she's this incredible foosball player. I mean, incredible.
Yes.
And then I see like videos of her at her stand-up shows, and then she'll get into it with someone who wants to challenge her, and then after they'll
Exactly.
bet, and she'll
I've
just
seen that too.
destroy
Yeah,
them.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Long ago, I used to be a writer and I worked on the show Degrassi ages ago. And we had a foosball table for the cast. And when they weren't on set, they could play foosball. And most of us from the crew would go and play foosball, to the point where I got so good that I would make money in bars. Like I
Really?
would bet people. And so when I saw that she was a big foosball player, I have a foosball table in my house here outside my little theater. And yeah, it's like, I'm ready. If Kelsey wants a
Yeah.
challenge, I'll kick her ass.
You think so?
No, she destroyed me.
Not that good.
Well, listen, Mike, we really appreciate you being on the show, and I can't stress enough how much we appreciate having
This
your
has been
song,
great.
Oh yeah, yeah.
because it is awesome.
I'm sure you have a lot of small businesses that listen. If anyone needs music, let me know.
So where can listeners find you online?
I mean, Spotify's the best, but if you don't have a Spotify account, you're using Apple Music. It's on. I think it's on pretty much every streaming service. Even YouTube. You can check out YouTube. I put a lot of corny videos out too. Like the Mean One video is probably my corniest video I've ever
Oh,
released.
it's so awesome.
So that's my sister, my dad, and my brother-in-law. The Squeezebox guy is not in that one.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's such a great video.
That's awesome.
We're going to say our goodbyes, but listen, Mike, why don't you introduce your song, because it's about to play in about 2 seconds. So Mike, take it away.
Sure, yeah. Check out the OK Otter song, Mean One. It's about the Grinch.
See you next time.
Ciao.